Okay, I think everything is up and running. Hello, fellow Sublime Text Fanatics. Terrence here, aka OdatNurd. Welcome to this live stream where I'll be live streaming some Sublime Text package development. And as is the recent history, we will be working on the HyperHelp package. The plans for tonight are to do to links what I did last week to anchors so that links can have arbitrary topics they link to and arbitrary link text, which currently they cannot due to the nature of the system that was originally in play when I started working on the system. And as a side benefit, we should be able to also link between packages as well in a way that we were previously unable to do. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we have once again tonight is scheduled as a 2-hour live stream. I have not started the timer yet. Let's get a little bit of business out of the way first. Um, the stuff that I would always say, do you like these live streams? You can subscribe to this channel, my personal channel. There's a link down in the description. And here on a weekly basis up until November when we're switching to a 2 times a week in preparation for going once every day through the entire month of December. I will be doing live streams. They're always scheduled either the night after I finish a stream or the following day, so you can come back to the channel and see when the next one is going to be. If you prefer shorter, more focused videos, then you can subscribe to my other channel, the OdatNurd channel, that is also Sublime Text related only and deals with similar topics, only those videos are more planned, and actually you don't see me making nearly as many mistakes as you do in these ones. And there should be a link down in the description. And by all means, subscribe to both. Use the bell notification icon for both. It's a small internet. How big of a Sublime Text fanatic are you? And that's really all I have to say for this one. I guess I should also clarify. I say I have plans for tonight, and then I say the videos on the other channel are more planned. By that I mean on my main channel, I think of what it is that I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, or how a solution to such a problem could work. And once that's done, I actually go through it myself before I record anything to make sure that I'm not making any missteps so that I know the topics that I want to hit and in what order, and try to sometimes inject some problems into those situations so that you can see, that these problems do crop up, but I may, remove the 35 minutes of me fumbling around before I realize what's wrong. In contrast, these live streams, I have a plan of things I want to do. That's basically just a bullet point list of changes that I want to make to this code. And I have in my head an idea of how I think it should work, and that's based primarily on potentially misremembered uh, understanding of how my code actually works because I haven't looked at every single line in a long time. So this ought to be exciting. And as always, whether it's one of these live videos or one of the planned videos on my channel. If you have any questions about Sublime Text package development, topics you've always wondered about, questions you'd like answered, drop me a message on Twitter at OdatNurd or in the comment section underneath any of the videos, and we'll see. I can inject a new video or talk about that in one of these live streams. And as a matter of fact, if the timing works out for you and you like, feel free to jump on into the live stream. Chat's always open. You could ask a question, what I'm doing, and maybe you'll get an answer for that. So, with all of that business out of the way, what is the actual change that we would like to make tonight? And that is, I want to change how my links work. Now, links, of course, are this text here that's underlined, and if I hover over it, it'll tell you where it goes to, what file they are, and they also have captions. Those captions are coming from this part. This is the help index for Snappy. So the help index tells you information on every file in every package, what the title of that page is, which is visualized up there, and also all of the topics that appear within that help file. And these topics are things that you can navigate to directly. Now, I've said this many times before, but this system was originally meant just to provide dirt simple, context sensitive help for one of my other packages. And in that one, anchors were text that looked like this, and links are things that look like that. And there's a one-to-one correlation. Whatever appears inside the anchor, that's what has to appear inside of the link, which for very simple help systems is all you need, and it's very easy to do. But uh, HyperHelp has grown out of that into a more fully functional, finger quotes, help system, and a whole lot of other features have been added to it, not the least of which is there are a lot more snappy. My de facto implementation for a help system used to just contain the information for the Sublime API, but now it also contains information on Sublime build files and color schemes. And the next one coming up will be themes and mini HTML after that, but they require these changes. And the change we made last week, if you didn't watch the stream, was a new syntax for anchors so that you could specify, do I still have that? Yeah. This is what the file for text input handler looks like. I'll move it over here and then we'll go to text input handler. Oh no, wait, I'm still picking the API documentation, aren't I? Yeah, there we go. We'll jump to it this way. So this is what the help looks like in the source, and this is what it looks like after it's been visualized and post-processed. And one of the things that sort of annoys me about this particular system is that originally anchors, this is a hidden anchor. As you can see, it's not visualized in the buffer, but I can still do that. I can still navigate to that anchor, and I could also, when I follow the link, it knows that anchor is there as well. I wanted the ability to be able to have text other than the actual help topic be in the index, and we did that last week. So if I was to, for example, do this, now I can grab these two bits, move them over here, and when I reload the file, now that whole thing acts as the anchor instead of just the text. And assuming this still works, I can still navigate there even though that link is this one right here. And basically this system is just saying that if an anchor has some text preceded by a colon, then use the text after the colon as the anchor and the text before as the anchor location. That was a very simple change to make. If you watch that stream, it did take a couple of hours. We're going to do the same thing tonight with links so that you can specify more things. In this particular, what we're going to do here is a same sort of thing, only now there's going to be two colons in there, and we're going to be able to say package colon topic colon text, like so. So this is the text that's going to appear in the document the way Sublime plugin appears on the right. This is the topic that it's actually going to link to, which is going to be distinct from the text, unlike right now when they both are always identical. And package is going to allow you to jump to a help topic in a completely different package, which is currently not possible. The underlying help system has a command that allows you to open any topic in any help file, but when you follow a link in a file, it always assumes the current package. So those are all of the things that we're going to change. I'm just going to revert all of those things back, and I'm probably going to have to do some extra magic for this one as well, but we'll worry about that later. My HyperHelp authoring tools always update the header to be the most recent date, so as long as you're editing files, life is good. So I'm going to start my 2-hour timer right now, and we're going to jump into this. The first thing we're actually going to do, though, is just a little bit of cleanup on previous code that it was added last week. So timer is launched. 2 hours and counting, 2 minutes and counting. Indeed, I could spend more than 2 minutes just talking about what I was going to do. Okay. If you recall, last week we added this hyperhelp capture anchors command. And this is the thing that does all of that work with anchors. It finds them all in the buffer and rewrites them as necessary. Something I don't sure if I mentioned, but the reason why this works this way is because if you do find by selector, I think I did mention this. I'll just double check, double explain it for those that may not have listened to that stream. If you do find by selector, in this case meta.anchor, to find all of the anchors in the file, which is that one and all of this text like this, you get what the regions are right now, which are offsets in the buffer, which is great if you just want to know where they are, but we're actually modifying the buffer. And for that reason, once we do that, the positions that we've been told will be wrong. And if you remember the code from last week that these simple lines replaced, uh, it's fairly complicated to rewrite things and still keep those locations accurate. And it was going to be even harder when doing it for anchor or for plug or for links as well, because currently the only post processing on links is they're given this underline here so they appear nice in the buffer. Because we're going to have to rewrite links too, so that means in the source file whatever's in here might be shorter, and that would mean that all things being equal, we'd have to go back and also fiddle around with the spaces that we found for the input hand or for the anchors as well. But by actually using add regions to add it, those regions are added to the buffer and Sublime anchors them in position. So when the text around them changes, nothing bad happens and those positions are updated, which is why we did that. But there is theoretically an issue with this capture anchors command, and that is there's no reason why you can't call it as a command. It's meant to be an internal command, but we're going to note that what this does is find everything with meta.anchor and add them to a persistent hidden region set, and then it goes through all of the punctuation.anchor.hidden. Now I'm going to have to do that again. That's these characters here. Punctuation, anchor, hidden, begin, and end. These are for the anchors that are hidden in the file. Those characters and those characters are removed after we've used the syntax highlighting to tell us the region that this text input handler text is in this particular situation. And we do that from the bottom up for that reason I just said, because every time you modify the buffer, those pre-calculated locations are going to change. And once all of that is done, the file looks like this. So this is an internal command. We know it's meant for internal use because we wrote it. Other people might not. They might come and look at this command and say, "Oh, I want to do something with anchors." And here's what happens if you were to run this again. That's the view that has the focus. And I say view.run command hyperhelp capture anchors. You might say, what does this do? It doesn't really seem to have any effect at all. And in this case, it actually might not have. But note that it's not landing there anymore. And the reason for that is because when you run this command again, it's finding all of the regions that match anchor and adding them to that anchor tag and doing stuff. Now, the rest of this didn't work because this buffer is currently read-only. But that was enough that since the syntax elements that made this recognizable as a hidden anchor before are gone, now it just doesn't know anymore. And the same thing would happen or will happen when we implement links. If this link doesn't link to Sublime plugin and it instead links to some completely other topic, once it's been rewritten and all that extra information is gone, if you were to run the command that's going to capture anchors, that link would no longer work. And there's not really a good way around this per se, but There are a couple of things that we can do, or that I'd like to do in any case, just to make it a little bit clearer how this is supposed to work. If I reload this help file, now it's working again because that refreshes it from the disk. So I'm going to grab this entire thing like so. Oh boy, that had a little bit of more of a space in there than it needed to. I'm going to remove it from there completely, like so. And then we're going to say new file relative to the current view, and we'll name it commands int.py for internal commands. Let's say internal cmd.py. That seems like it might be nice. Import Sublime plugin, and that. And did I have any? Yeah, I did. Okay. I like to keep these things laid out a certain way. That's too far. We're going to cut that out. Don't do that. And whoops, this isn't VI. Put one more there. So, oh, and I should also do this, I suppose. The window that appears on the other monitor so that I can always see the console now that I'm actually starting to do something, and make it always on top. Okay, so if I reload that, that's still working. And in the world of the purely theoretical, do I have, oops, I have more windows open than I need to. There we go. Well, I did that a little too soon, didn't I? Because I'm going to quit and restart. It's still over on the other monitor. It's not always on top, but that's okay. And if I reload that help file, global name parse anchor body is not defined. Ah, okay. So there was a little bit more to do. From.core import parse anchor body. Add one of those. Okay. That worked. Now we'll quit it and restart it again. And I'll even do it this way just so you can see that it is reloading the help file. And that command is still being executed, if you will. We can tell it's being executed because this doesn't look like an anchor anymore. Now what I'm going to do is change it to that, and that's going to require me to quit and restart because that old command is going to be around. That still worked. When I reload the file, now it's not post-processing anymore because that command doesn't exist. So now I need to search for hyperhelp capture anchors, and there's exactly one, and it should call internal capture anchors. And whoops, now if I reload the help file, that's good, and if I restart Sublime, that is still doing what we want. Okay, that's one thing that we want to do. So all of our commands that are internal are going to be over here in this file instead of in this file. Now, technically, hyperhelp focus is meant for our internal use, but there's nothing special about it. Anybody could call this if they wanted to focus a particular part of the buffer. I don't see any reason to try and block that per se. So we might say that, much like being able to navigate to a topic, maybe as a help author, you want to be able to focus a particular location somewhere in a help file or something. We can contrive a reason why it's okay for that one to be there. So that's okay. And the other thing is, this just adding internal to the name might stop someone from actually fiddling with it, but it might not. It's possible to find the names of commands that are being executed without actually looking at the code and such. But here's something else we can do, and this is something that's the other part of this particular initial cleanup here. Do that. I'm going to say, what are we going to call this? Oh, maybe this should be in the core because it's not a command. Yeah, let's do that. It's nothing to do with this per se. And is the core the place where, where's that find I just did? The place where that's being invoked is in help.py. Okay, so we'll do it in here because we're going to change these two lines as well. So, okay, we'll be able to find that in just a second. So we'll come up here and load help, update help history. Where's a good place to drop this in? Display help file. Okay, right here. Def enable post processing for a help view and a Boolean. And then we can say help view dot set read only as not enable and help view dot settings dot set HH. Oh, what's a good name for a setting that tells you when post processing is enabled? Let's call it processing enabled. What the heck? It's only ever going to appear in a few places, and that's going to be enable. So the purpose of this, I believe all of these have some sort of help document, right? Enable or disable the. Incidentally, if you're a Python guru, it probably you cringe when you look at my code because I do weird things like not want my doc comments to start like that. I find that irritating. If I'm going to have comments here, I want it to be more visually distinct. I break a lot of PEP rules, I'm sure. I tried one time to use Python or PyLint or something along those lines to see how I could make my code more compliant and quickly gave it up because what I think looks good and what the people that created Python think looks good are two wildly different things. Enable or disable post-processing on the provided help view, which controls the file can be edited. Look, and whether various processing commands, oh, that's too long, are enabled. Now this is, of course, does this even need to be a function? Probably not. The magic is we're going to call this at the top with true. So not true is false. So the buffer is now no longer read-only. Then it sets true in for that. So we're going to go ahead and copy that and jump down. Oops. Oh, no. I did not press enough keys. There we go. So instead of that, we're going to do this. We're going to enable post-processing here instead of that. And we're going to disable it here. Now, part of the reason to make that a function is just so that this looks a little nicer, if you will, for the purposes of having fewer lines here. And that tends to load correctly. The help file reloaded, and everything still seems to work. Now, the magic of that is that we're going to say, we got to go back to internal commands and modify this so that for this to be enabled, that selector has to match and self.view.settings.get that setting whose name I can't remember right now. Did I put that underneath it accidentally? Oh, Wow, that was very, no wonder I was confused by that. Okay, let's do that. And that should work, right? So this command is only enabled if this is a help file and the HH processing enabled setting is set to true, and this says if that setting is not set, pretend it's false, which doesn't really matter because we're pretty much always going to be setting this. The only time this wouldn't happen is for if you tried to invoke it for some file where it didn't really matter, like a text file where it was already going to some file that the help system didn't load itself. If you try to invoke it on that, chances are good it's not going to work. Um, it might work in a loaded help file, but not if this setting isn't set. And of course, if the setting wasn't set, the value is none, and none is a false value, so that shouldn't matter anyhow. But now, that means if I reload this help file, it says it reloaded the file and it still works. But if I was to do this, it has done nothing, which is what we want. So that's the first part of the cleanup. I wanted to do that because we're going to create a similar command for links as well. So I'm going to leave focus command here because it's still somewhat useful. Now the other thing we're going to want to look at here is hyperhelp navigate. If you are following a link, you see what it does is it finds the help view. It gets the beginning point of the current selection, which is the cursor position, like so. And if that is a link, then it extracts the scope, the text at the scope of that point, or sorry, extracts the scope that matches this point, which is only going to be that text, and then it substrs it to get the link text as the topic. It gets the package to use from HH package, which is a setting in this buffer, and then it calls show help topic for those two things and enables history. That's how following links works currently. So what we're going to do is change where this information for the topic comes from instead of being that text, and what the package comes from instead of being the setting. That will be the default if there isn't one specified over here. But the first thing that we want to do, I guess I could also point out, if I jump over to here, this post-process comments and post-process headers should also be internal commands because they are modifying the actual buffer. Now, this one is actually very lightweight. It just is the thing that replaces this line with those two lines, and it can do that by manipulating the selection, so that's not that big a deal. And you saw me do the post-process comments as well. But if these ones are going to be commands, they should all be commands, but that's something that's further down the line. That's nothing we need to worry about here. It would be very simple to just take that code and make direct API calls instead of selecting things and so forth. So we're going to jump over to Smurge here. And okay, so I screwed around with commands in there and removed that command in that file. So let's stage that one. In help, instead of set read only, we are doing that, and we changed the name of that command, and we have the new element there. So let's stage that. And it's also important to stage this file that has this. And before we commit that, I'm going to once again come over here, quit Sublime in its entirety, restart it. Everything loaded the way that it's supposed to load. And if I was to, let's say, browse available help to the user package, just pick some random command, and then browse available help back to the API in the index, I can still come over here and go back to that file, and everything's still working the way that it should, and no errors in the console. So our new commands are definitely doing what we want. So this isn't in a branch. This is just some simple cleanup. This moves the internal commands for doing post-processing into their own file. This should hopefully keep our help files okay. Set that. Now we're actually going to jump to a branch for link extensions for this next part. And that can go away now. So, okay, that was the two cleanup items. We got that and we got that. The next thing is we need some way to associate the text. Whoops. We need some way to associate the text of links with something that's other than their own link text, if you will, because right now the topic that this links to is the same as that. Now, I have an idea for how to do that, and the first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to set up a setting here in, we're going to create a new command to do so. Are these commands all separated out? No, they're not. Okay, we're going to create a new command here called hyperhelp internal capture links command. Sublime plugin dot text command because we need to modify the buffer eventually. And edit. And we are going to grab this as the body for our command. Maybe we'll indent it so that it works. Now, let's see. It was getting a help view. So if we wanted this to continue doing what it's doing currently, then we need to replace all instances of help view with, whoops, self.view, like so. And we're going to also copy this so that this command is again only available there. So now the package name is the current help package for this view. Hyperhelp. Oh, maybe we're going to need to import help index list and look up topic. So let's see, that's going to be what this can actually be a little easier. From .core import help index list, look up help topic. Is there another one? We don't need to use hyperhelp core dot anymore. I don't think. That was the thing from a few videos past where we were having some circular dependency problems. So that's one, that's one. Those are the only two. Those can just go that way now, I think. And I'm going to guess that that more or less does what we want, but we'll check that in a second. And now, well, actually, let's do this. Oops. Do that. where are the places that this is? It does not need to be here because it no longer exists. And it no longer, post-process links happens in here. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Okay, well we're gonna comment this out for the time being. Come back to that. We'll have to take advantage of that. This is for because links have this persistent underline. There's a new code that I added. I think even on one of these live streams where there's two different regions, active links and broken links. So it's going to have to re-invoke this to reset those up. We're probably going to have to do a little bit of extra work in order to. The idea was when the plugin, when Sublime comes back from being quit, the regions are persistent, so they will come back to the exact same state, but maybe the actual help system has been updated in the meantime, and now links that aren't broken were broken before aren't now, or vice versa. So that was fixing it up. So we're going to have to leave that for the time being. But I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And that's the one I just did, right? Yep. And here we're going to want to view.run command hyperhelp internal capture links. We're doing links before anchors. I think we need to do links after anchors and not before because of the way that we're about to do it. So I'm going to move it down so links come after anchors because anchors are definitely going to modify the buffer and links are definitely going to modify the buffer. But the way I have planned to be able to associate links with their appropriate topics requires that no more modifications to the buffer happen after the links are rewritten. So we're going to leave that at that. That gives me pause that I actually have thought of the proper way to pull this off. And now I'm going to remove this in its entirety. Okay, and now I'm just going to close that and we're going to reopen. And the only one is the one that's commented out. And just for clarity's sake, okay, links is the one commented out. Comments and anchors still exist. Comments and comments and header. So that's all good. So if I was to quit and restart, I don't see any problems in the console. And I guess at this point, nothing actually happens. So we need to follow a link to make sure that links are still underlined. And they are not because global name current help package is not defined. That's in common. So from common, import current help package. Okay, reload the help file. There we go. So in the world of the purely theoretical, we are successfully post-processing links. And by that, I mean we've successfully, I guess, moved the code from there to there. We still want, do we care about the current package name? I think we do. That's the actual, oh, actually, well, that might actually not be as bad as I think it is. So the first thing is we need to set up a setting in this buffer. So what I would like, and here's the thinking on this. Remember I said if the cursor is here, when you follow the link, what it effectively does is that, extract that text, use it as a lookup. But we don't want that to happen. So we need some way to associate this particular location in the buffer with some particular link topic. And I think we have finding all of the links, and why am I doing that twice? That's something that I don't remember why I did that. Were you watching the live stream when I did this? What was my reasoning for actually doing that? Because that doesn't seem like it's making a lot of sense right now. Let's see, where is this actually used anywhere? No. Well, maybe because that's the way I was doing it before I did this. Okay, so for my purposes, let's remove that line entirely. Let's say, well, again, yeah, it's not used in here at all. We're doing that. And because we know we're going to be modifying the buffer, let's go ahead and do that this way, even though at this point it doesn't matter. And what we're doing here, oh, actually we're going to need, what did I call that up there? HHNav? Yeah. The setting name is HHNav. That's not, that's one of the things that's on my list of things to clean up. I don't know that I like that name now that I'm going to have multiple settings that have to have to interact with each other. But we'll say HH links is a dictionary. And what we're going to do is say, well, we have to extract the topic, and then we say HH links, where the key is region.begin. Set the value of that to topic. And I'm going to just go ahead and print HH links here. And what happens when I reload this file? So at position 369 is text command, 386 is text input handler. The one closest to the top is event listener, which is 284. It's the lowest number. Okay. So now the position in the buffer where the link starts is associated with the topic that it's supposed to follow. And we can say, well, we don't want to do it that way, do we? We're going to say view.settings.set HH links and HH links. Okay, so instead of printing it, reload the file. Ooh. Do that far too often. Instead of, really? Huh. Line 55. In run, settings set, self settings at key value, string required. What now? How the hell did I break that? Do dictionaries only allow strings as keys? Is that that would be a hell of a thing. Okay. Oops. Well, isn't that just a little bit of a rump kicker? So Sublime's being a bit of a butt. Whoops, there's too many of those. Still no, huh? Oh, let's see. Let's reset that, shall we? Those are different keys. I buy that. Okay, so view get temp. It is not a good typing night. Okay. Oh, what's the thing called? Erase? Okay, there you go. So Sublime requires the settings, the dictionaries to have string keys. That is, we just saw, is no big deal. I can't remember, I don't know if that's something I knew before and forgot, or if that's a new discovery. Okay, so now if I say view.settings get HH links, that seems to be doing what we want, except that they're not numbers, but what can you do? So now that setting has been set. And in commands, in follow link, here's what we're going to do. We find the help view. We get the point at the selection. If it's actually a link, here's what we do. We say HH links equals help view dot settings dot get HH links, and then topic is HH links dot get with oh shoot, I still need that part. This part link region is equal to that. Oh, well, let's put that up there. We need to get that setting, then we get the link region, then out of link regions we get, I'm assuming that strs and ints are different, link region dot begin to obtain the topic. Just for giggles, we're going to print %s and %s and topic and help view dot subster link region. And I'll do that this way. Plugin has reloaded. So what happens when I follow? Yeah. What happens when I follow this? Oh, well, it followed the link. I guess it probably would have helped if I had used that print in some sort of proper manner, like if this was a percent, and then this looked like this. I mean, it's sort of, we sort of let the cat out of the bag on that one, but it's coming up with the same value. So it's now, well, you know what? Now we don't want to get the setting out unless we know. That looks nice. If it's a link, get the links out, get the region of the link. I like it better this way. If it's a link, then get the region that the link spans, get the setting. I guess we need to do something like that. This doesn't need to be here. I could add error checking here, but you'll see that show help topic is smart enough that if I think if we follow this far enough down, or perhaps not, perhaps I'm misremembering this. I think no, huh? All right. Now I'm out in the weeds of stuff. So what do we want to do? Well, what do we want to do if we call show help and we didn't actually obtain a help topic? If there doesn't know what the help package is, it'll do nothing. If it looks up the help topic, and help topic is none, if topic data is none, then that's gonna, okay, well, this is gonna be a command to decision. We're gonna use the link underscore broken because one of my upcoming changes is to say that all links or all topics with an leading underscore are quote unquote reserved for hyperhelp use, because there's something else I want to do with that. And I need to have at least one, so I might as well have all of them. So if the text at the cursor is a link, get the scope, the extent of the region that spans it, and then get the link setting, obtain the link that starts, the topic that starts at that position, and then get the package out of the settings, and then show that help topic. Actually, I think we want to do a couple of things here. Let's go back to here. We're going to say actually package is none. Can I do this? And topic is topic. Then like that, huh? Oh, because that's not a comma. Okay. That still works, but now if I was to attempt to follow, it's going to go horribly wrong. Boom! I know, right? Okay, so there's a reason for links coming forward are going to have packages that you can link to, and none is going to mean use the default package. So we might as well get that set up the way we want. So we're not saying topic is that, we're saying topic dat is that. And oh, this is where it's unfortunate. We're going to do that. If topic dat is not none, then the topic is topic dat.get. Well, actually, I don't need to use get there, can I? I can just use topic. And package is equal to topic dat package, or that. Oh, now it's too long. That's unfortunate. Else topic is broken. Actually, I could probably shorten that up a little bit. Let's go ahead and put them up here. So link regions is that. The topic is by default the broken topic, and the package is by default this. Okay. And then, so if it's a link, get the scope that it's, you know what? Now it makes more sense for it to be like that. If it's a link, then we need a topic and a package. And the default topic is the topic broken, and the default package is whatever package is currently being visualized in the current help file. Then we get the scope that spans the region and oops, the settings that tells us about links. And then we look up what based on the link position, the topic information associated with it. If it's not none, then the topic is the topic from there, and the package is that, or package. Otherwise, we don't have to do anything. We definitely don't want that. And we want to print showing %s in %s. And this time we'll actually do it right. And topic and package. What do we think of that? We think that seems to load. And if I follow event listener, showing event listener in Sublime API, and it worked. Okay, so just to double check, I'm going to change this to, let's pretend that's the case. Now I need to repost process this buffer by reloading it. Oh, I did something silly there. I pushed F6 again. Not going to go on a 20-minute tangent this time. We're going to go back one, reload this help file. And now when I follow this, it's showing event listener and user, and there is no such topic in that package. So it's successfully gathering things. So what we have here is a command to capture links out of the buffer and store into a setting a package and a topic based on the text that's in it. And then it goes ahead and underlines links or not, depending on whether or not. Okay, well, this is actually going to be wrong too, but we have only. Where did I get package info from? Oh yeah, because it's always the current package. Okay. Do I care about the current help package? Is this used anywhere except there? No. Okay. And I think the reason for that is, of course, links always used to have to appear in one package, right? So that's not something that needs to happen anymore. So we don't need that. This does need to change every time through here. Oh, actually, I do need that because that's the default package. Okay, so I'm going to cut that. I'm going to put it here. Oh, you know what? You know what? Let's not do that. Let's cut that line and put it here. Now I'm trying to decide when it comes to the setting. I think I got confused there. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. We're going to get the topic out of the buffer, which right now is just always the text, and we're going to get the current help. So let's say, yeah, actually, we're going to do that for right now. That's right. I was thinking ahead a little bit. It's enough to know that all links in this file, in this thing, explicitly link to something. So that is what we want there. And that means we have to cut that, and we have to put it here. Because in theory, every time, oh, I don't have a, no, internal commands don't have any help, but that's okay. I can fix that later. Every time through this loop, it's going to get a topic, it's going to get a package. Theoretically, the package comes from the link, so it could potentially be different every time. So not only should we store it in there, we also need to look up the package info for that particular package so that we can mark it as an active or inactive topic. So I'm going to reload the plugin. The plugin has reloaded. I'm going to reload this. And I think that means that this should always say, once again, view event listener in Sublime API. Okay, so that's still doing what we want. I'm going to have to, oh, yeah, we don't. I don't think we care about that one right now. That's still printing that. Theoretically, this part is now redundant because it's coming from the setting. It's always going to have that, but it seems like it's probably a good idea to just, it's we might want to do that in the future. I don't know yet, so that is fine. So we don't actually need that. Now, just of course to verify everything, I'm going to quit and restart. And everything seems to have loaded. We're going to go back, reload this, and I can still navigate links, even though it's going through the new mechanism. So let's go ahead and drop this into here. Now, what do we got here? Let's work through this in a different order because there's quite a few changes here. Did I not add int commands? I thought I did. Yeah, there it is. Well, why is this so radically different now? Is it just that radically different? Well, maybe we can do this sort of in stages. Let's see. We'll say first plugin loaded, post-process links, post-process links, post-process link. Oh, that's right. That command was added. Oh, I derped that up hardcore. Okay, so let's do that this way. This is going to be one of those things where potentially things are busted in between commits, but because we're on a branch, probably that's going to be okay. So we're going to leave follow link alone in that file, and we're going to say post-process links no longer exists, and post-process links no longer exists. And because it no longer exists, we need to temporarily disable that. And that does no longer exist and the command happens down there. So that's what we want. And this is removing post-process links. So we'll stage that. And here in internal commands, we are going to stage that hunk where we're importing the things we need for our internal command. Like so, if that's going to actually work for me. There we go. So the only thing that's not staged is the follow link command, because technically it'll still work without this stuff. So actually that's probably not that bad. Replace the link post processor with a command. The old command for post processing links. Doing the same thing. Preparation for an upcoming feature. This new command creates a new setting that will be used to associate link positions in the buffer with the topics and packages that the links should ultimately navigate to. Okay, and now instead of matching the selector, getting the topic and going there, we match the selector, get the region, get the link setting, find the topic, go there. So we're going to stage that and say use the new setting to navigate links. Using the newly added setting, navigating links now takes the topic from the setting instead of from the text that appears in the buffer. making way for us to create intra-package links and links with alternate link text. Okay. So as we can see, that set us up so that all we need to do is create the link equivalent of parse anchor body to return a couple of things. Now, I'm pretty sure that this would work, but just for my own edification, if I said from hyperhelp.core import parse anchor body and parse anchor body topic ID colon, this is the text on drive C. Oh, whoops. I want that. I'm expecting topic ID and the other part to come out. Perfect. Okay. I had this bizarre thought that I had perhaps implemented this in a way where it wasn't possible to use colons in the anchored text, which was not my intention. But yeah, it's very, very easy to do that. Okay, so we're going to create a new file. We're going to call this in my home directory test.py. Yeah, I'm aware. And we're going to call this parse link body. And what do we want to do here? Now here there's going to be 2 colons, or there has to be either no colons or at least 2, because it's going to go package colon topic colon link text. So if you want to have a colon in your link text, you have to provide a package and you have to provide well, here we go. We'll just do this. A, B, and C. Okay, and def test link text, link body, yeah. Package topic text equals parse link body, and then I can say print link to, so I'm gonna, because we're doing string manipulation, in package, I'm gonna put quotes around them to make sure, with text to, and let's see, link to topic in package with text, and say test some link text. Now, of course, we're just always going to get ABC here, but how about if I did that right? That would be interesting and intriguing, wouldn't it? Link to B in package A with text C. Okay, just to verify that. This is the package. It's intended that this is the package, this is the topic, and this is the text. So link to topic and package with text, that's what we want. So here are the things that should work. You should be able to just provide what we're currently doing, and it'll default to the current package and use this text as the topic as well. You should be able to also say : other link text, in which case you're saying that the package is the default and the link ID is, or the topic is the default, and here's the text. So this is functionally identical to that, but putting these colons in, and I'm doing that wrong. That one is named wrong. Oops. The reason I'm doing that is so that you can say : get more link text action, because if you want to use a colon in the link text, you're going to have to specify stuff. Now this actually should cause an error because colons aren't allowed. So that's something we may have to handle here. And we're going to say colon ID some more text. And then I guess we also want to be able to say what? In user ID1 some text test ID2 other text. So we have regular text that just does what we want. That's the fallback. Here's the alternate fallback. Well, let's comment that one out for just, oh, actually, I'll move it down here. Things that should be broken. It's only illegal. Actually, maybe that doesn't matter because the linter can take care of that. It shouldn't be valid to have, this shouldn't be valid because it means that because there's no topic ID here, all of the text is going to be the topic ID. And that means the topic ID is going to have a colon. But you can't have a topic ID that has a colon in it because that would break anchor processing. So that's something that the linter can tell you that you're being a boob. We won't worry about it right now. So I'm just going to skip that for the time being. It's easy enough to add later. So regular fallback, new version of regular fallback. Here we're falling back. Oh, I already did that one, did I? Regular how it works now. Fallback for that. One for right now where there's default package and an ID. Here's one where there should be a default package but no ID. And then there should be a package and an ID. And we'll take the colon out of that one. And for all of these, we're going to do another one where there are colons in, just to verify. And those are all the same. That seems to work. So what do we want to do here? Well, this is going to be just like the last time. I'm going to feel my way through something that works and then seeing if I can make it look a little better. The thought occurs, this is one of those things that could be premature optimization, because I could say if this is not in link body, then return none link body, and otherwise do that. And if I do this, that first one does what we want. Now here, indeed, none will be returned instead of whatever the default package is. It'll be the job of the caller to interpret none as whatever the default package is. And that's because much like parse anchor body, parse link body is meant to be used by code external to the library. So for maximum utility, code external to the library can parse this link and be able to say, oh, no package was given. I have my own sense of what the current package is. For example, the linter might want to be able to tell you that you forgot to provide a package. It can't do that if this always returns one, right? And it's easy enough, as we saw, to inject one in. This is the stuff that I had in my head when I was thinking that I should put none in that setting. So that would work. But if that's not the case, then we would have to do something else, because if colon is not in link body, do this. Otherwise, the colon must be in the link body, right? And if it is in the link body, then we're going to need to split the thing at colons. And this is the part where the curmudgeonly old coder in me complains, because in order to figure out if there's a colon in this thing, it's going to need to scan through to be able to find the first one. And it seems silly to do that if it's going to scan, see that there is a link, and then immediately fall back out to do another scan. So for readability's sake, does it look nicer if we just always split by colon? I should probably also verify if I said x equals hello, goodbye. Well, actually, yeah, let's do this, colon stuff. X dot split. Does this do what I want? Yay! I've been doing a lot of C# lately, so sometimes I get a little confused. So I'm going to say parts is equal to link body dot split into colons, or by colons. Now, what are the various situations? If the length of parts is equal to 1, that would be equivalent to, well, actually I can just do this, can't I? I can, if it was just stuff, maybe I should type stiff because my fingers want to. If I just did this, oh my goodness, my hands are all squappity tonight. The result of that is always a single item. So if there's only one item, then it's that fallback one that we already know how to do, where we say return none, link body, like that, which is the same as this, if colon's not in it. What's the other thing that can happen? There can be 3 or more parts, because if it was package colon ID colon stuff, then there would be 3. And if stuff and more stuff, if the text had a colon, there'd be 4. So if there's at least 3, then we know that if there's at least 3 or more, then we know that it's this full version. So let's do that. If len parts is greater than or equal to 3, then here's where things start to get more complicated. The package is equal to parts is 0. The topic is equal to parts 1. And I would need to create an array slice. So if I did this, if that was the text, that's 0, 1, 2. So if I said x2 colon, does that do what I want? Okay. So colon dot join x2 should take the third and all remaining items and join them together on colons, which in that case gives us the text back that we started with. And if x was this, then we still just get stuff. So text is equal to colon dot join parts 2. Let's say that. We don't need to. But do we need to do that? It's always a return. Okay. Split it into parts. If there's exactly 1, then the link body is the same as the topic and it's in the default package. Figure out the default package for yourself. That's good. If there are 3 or more parts, then the package is the first one, the topic is the second one, and text is the third one. If there's not 3 or more, then there's 1 or 2. And that means that the topic, there's not enough colons in here. That covers things like you forgot to add the package, or you forgot to um, add the ID. And in that case, how do we solve this problem? Well, I could generate an error message here, but this is going to be called every time a help file is displayed. Do I want the users of the help system to have an annoying or a dialog pop up to tell them that the person that wrote the help did it wrong? That doesn't seem particularly nice. So certainly not every time you open a help file. Maybe once, but that's starting to get into complicated things that it may or may not be fun to try to implement. So what if we instead said in that case, the package is broken and the topic is underscore broken. Oh, here, we'll do this. Broken package, the topic is underscore broken, and the text is equal to broken topic. Do we want that? We'll see. This falls back to the idea that all topics that start with underscores are reserved by hyperhelp. So even if there was a package called broken package, the topic underscore broken shouldn't appear in it. The idea is to just return back a value that lets the caller know. Alternatively, maybe it's better to return none for all of them. And if there's no link text, then the user, whoever is called the function, knows. You know what? Let's do that. We're going to return none, none, none in that case. So now we need to say, I don't know if this will work. Topic equals topic or text. And, well, yeah, we'll just do that. That's the package, the topic is this, and the text is that. What does that do? Oh, I needed to print the, hang on. I need to print link body, and then let's go ahead and print some dashes so that everything's separated. So some link text is equal to the link some link text in the package none with the text some link text. Did I did. Okay. Always check your debug code before you start debugging, because chances are good you accidentally made your debug code broken. So now that is the text and the link the topic and the text are the same with package none. Here the link is to other link text in package none with other link text, which as we can see is exactly identical to that, which is good because it got into that part, which means this works. The idea of this being, if package is an empty string, make it none. And if topic is an empty string, make it the text. And that worked here. Now the package should be none with the ID of ID and the text of some more text, and this should have a package of user with the topic and the text being some text, which it does. This one is the full version with the package default link to ID2 with text other text. And again, the package is none with ID, and now some more text, and see that text and that text match. And here's a version of that where the package is user, the actual topic ID is broken, and the text is that. And again, that's outside of the scope of this. The caller is going to have to be able to detect that. For our cases in the help file, it'll go ahead and do it. It's not going to be able to look it up, and we'll rely on the linter to tell people that they've done something wrong until I come up with a better, I decide that it kicks me in the butt because I forget to lint something. Then I'll worry about how to actually do that. But in the meantime, it's not worth worrying about. Other colon text with default and ID2. So that seems to be working the way I would want. So do we have any tests here that don't have enough colons? Test colon hello. None, none, none. And 2 colons would be enough for it to work. So basically only if the size is 2, then it's wrong. Otherwise, there's something to do for each one of them. So that seems to work. We're going to grab that out of there and put it here. Given the body of a link, parse it to determine what package, topic ID, and link text the link. What package, let's do it this way. What package and topic ID the link will navigate to, as well as what the visual link text should be. This always returns a 3-tuple, though the value of the link text will be none if the parse failed. It's possible for the package to be none, in which case you can infer what the default package should be. Okay. And that has reloaded. Let's do that because that's how that's going to work. And now the fun part. We don't want to say topic is that and that's that, do we? We want to say raw. We want to say link body is self.view.subster region. And then we want to say package name topic text equals parse link body. Oh, you know what? We don't need that more than once. So let's just go ahead and do this. And do I need to import that? Yes. Parse link body, like so. So now the name of the package, the topic ID, and the text are all coming from there. We don't need to subster the topic out of the buffer, and we don't need to get, we do need the current help package for this view. But it can be up here instead. Default package can be that, because we don't need to ask this view every single time through the loop if the setting is the same. Presumably we would have changed it. Now here, package name should be package name or default package. So if you don't specify a link, you don't specify a package, it'll use the current one. Topic is the topic. And that part can stay. We also need to do what we did for the anchors, which is this. Only I named it V instead of self.view so things would fit nicer. Am I doing a lot of view stuff in there? Kinda am. We'll worry about that later. Um, oh, I do still need that region. Oh. Oh, but I have the region. Never mind. This should be self.view replace that. So for every link in the buffer, starting at the bottom and going up, extract the text inside the vertical pipes, pass it to parse link body, which gives it a package name, a topic, and the text. We'll add a line here. Magic stuff in the middle to do verification. Once the verification is completed, then replace the entire region of the link with just the text and set up the dictionary so that the start of the link location uses either the package name from the link or the default package if the package name that was returned was none, and the topic ID that was provided. And then look up that package in the help index list. This is just a dictionary lookup, so it's actually pretty quick, and I don't think it's worth trying to do some sort of caching to see if it's the same for every link. That's something that can be adjusted later if there's a help file that has 950,000 links in it and it takes a long time to post process. If it can find that help topic, it gets added to the active regions. Otherwise, it gets added to the broken regions. Now, I guess one issue is that, okay, this is going to be broken for right now. I did not think that part through. The links are going to, when they're actually in the buffer, I think we would had to do something similar. Yeah. Because the region as we get it is the entirety of an entire link, which could include a package and an ID. When you do the replace, that whole area becomes this text, so the region is actually shorter than it was before. Does this tell you any information when you call it? No, huh? If it returned the difference in size between the two, that would be handy. Actually, I suppose I could figure that on my own, couldn't I? So yeah, we won't worry about that for right now. From the bottom up, find them, replace them. Okay. Let us reload that. The package has reloaded. I'm going to go back one. In fact, let's go right to the index. Now, all the links are being added to the broken one. Why is that per se? Can I follow this? Yes. Yes, I can. I can follow that. Why are they showing up as broken in here? Well, I guess I could print that, couldn't I? Print package name topic text. Okay, reload this. The package is none at that point. Oh, haha. Oh, I see. I boned that up. Take that line out. Package name is equal to package name or default package. It should happen here and not here because it needs to be used in the lookup. There we go. That fixes that problem. Now we need to say if a text is none, then topic is broken and text is equal to that. I don't know what's a good stand-in for that right now, but you know what? Let's we can do it here. Edit the index. Bring it down here. So it goes package topic ID link text. So in that case, this should still say example plugins. Yeah, here's where we can see the regions going wrong because now the text in the buffer is shorter. It was shortened by 4 characters. So 1, 2, 3. All of the regions following it in the buffer are off by some amount. And that link should not actually work. Unknown help topic ID. Although it does link to that because there's actually more work to be done in the hover event handler for this thing. But that is it actually trying to, if I did this, you could see it saying unknown help topic ID. And, ooh, that one's broken, is it? Why is that one broken? Oh, because the regions are wrong, probably. But that one worked. And if that one didn't have, now that is confusing. Package name, topic, text. Let's reload that buffer. Package name, text, text. So why is, oh, that's the other end of that. The region isn't in the place that allows it to follow the link anymore. Remember that region position is very important in the setting. That region.begin is wrong now. Because the ID is broken. But if I copied this, whoops, if I copied that and put it here, now it's a ridiculous example. Was it actually sort of one character too long? That's interesting. That part still works. And this could say plugins instead of that. And even though it says plugins, you can still go there. So on the face of it, this is doing what we want, and there are just some hiccups along the way because the regions are wrong. So how do we solve that? How did we do that with anchors? We grabbed all of the anchor regions and added them first. Then we erased stuff. Then we enumerated by regions that were already in the buffer. So maybe we should try that here. Well, for our purposes, let's, okay, get the current help package. So it's going to say self.view.add regions. HH links. Is that something that I'm using anywhere? Besides in this internal command and as that setting? Yeah, well, we'll worry about that in a second. I think I see why I did that. I'm going to do that again because that seems to be really nice. We're going to put that here. Now we're going to find all of the self.views, but we're going to do it right. Self.view, 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 and that one, and that one, and that one, and say that. So actually, let's change this stuff around a little bit. This doesn't happen until down there. So I'm going to move those down there for the time being, just to make that a little cleaner. And this has to happen there. So let's say we get the default package and we set that up. Then we add regions. So that's that. Find by selector meta link. And I think that one. And we want to add hidden and persistent. Yes, yes we do. Like so. So that's going to find all of the, whoops. That's going to find all of the links and add them with their full. Does that still reload? Yes. Does that still go there? Okay. Unbounded local variable active referenced before assignment. Really? Oh, right, because it's in there. Okay, well, let's just comment that part out for right now because we got bigger fish to fry at the moment than whether or not links are underlined. Well, except that we need to maybe change that. Instead of hidden, we'll change it to draw solid underline so we can at least see where they are. Oh, but it has to have a scope. I'll make it green. There. So that is finding all plugins is not in the help index, huh? Oh yeah, that's right. Like I said, the event handler for that pop-up is still making the same assumptions about how links work. So we found all of the regions that are links and added them there. And I say we probably want to say v.getRegions. HH links. Does that still work? File reloads. Okay, that's still good. It grabs that. Now it's printing all of the stuff that we expect down there. And I can follow that link. And I can't follow that one because we have to do this in 2 passes. How do we do this? The first time through, see the problem is this value changes, but it is getting written from the bottom up, is it not? If the list of regions is reversed and it's going from the bottom up, then yeah, example plugins is the last one and Sublime is that one. This almost seems like it should work and doesn't, so I'm missing something very vital here. It has all of the links. Oh, actually, that one's the last one. It just doesn't happen to be anything there. Let's reload that. Oh, right, sorry. That's going from the bottom up. So the first one is API reference, that one there. And then it comes down from there. So they should all be right except for this one, except that when this one is shortened, the locations for all of the other ones shorten. Okay, so that is, it's one of those, sometimes you have to talk yourself through why something is broken the way you think it's broken. But basically, it's collected all of these regions that are in yellow. It's going through them from the bottom up. And every time it's getting to one, it's writing that location and then saying, or it's grabbing that text, possibly rewriting it. The location that it starts at always stays the same, even because the text is coming off the front. Then it stores that location into the setting, and then it moves backwards through. And when it gets to this one is shorter than it was before. And because of that, the starting saved positions of all of these other links are now wrong. So how did we handle this we enumerate in index and region? Yeah, because we wanted the index on them. What we need to do temporarily, maybe we make a temporary dictionary that stores the index location of the regions that are associated until all of the writing is done, and then go back and flip through and store the locations then, because then at that point their locations will be finalized. So there might be a better way to do that, but that's what we're going to do. So we're going to add that. Do I have a... Let's move this down. We're going to cut that, and we're going to paste it down here. Whoops. So for this first part, we do need the package because we're parsing. So actually, let's do this first. First, that. Find all of the links. We'll replace this with a blank string and that with hidden later once we know everything works. And then we're going to get the default package. For IDX, region in reversed enumerate regions, which I believe is, whoa, not enough of those bad boys. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I believe that's what we did, something up here. Enumerate reversed regions, except that it was a variable and not something that we inlined. Maybe we should do that for clarity's sake. Regions is v.getRegions hh links, like so. And then instead of this, regions, like so. And now we're getting the package name, the topic, and the text by parsing what we get when we grab that text. The package is either the default package or that. We're going to delete that for the time being. If text is none, then the topic is underscore broken and the text is broken. We're going to replace that link text with whatever the parsed text was, which in our case is almost always the same thing. And then, and here's where we say temp is equal to this. We're going to say temp IDX is equal to that. Okay. And then stuff will happen. You know what? Let's go ahead and just comment all of this out for the time being, just so we can verify. So that's that. It has reloaded and boop. And what do we got here? Argument to reversed must be a sequence. How did I do that up there? Regions is v.getRegions. Oh, I did them backwards. There we go. And I need to print temp when we're done. And let's say we actually need a help file with far fewer links in it. And I don't even know where one of those might live. But it's tricky to find now, isn't it? How many links are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know that I like that as an example, but if I print temp, zero has the topic API reference. Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's the one at the bottom. So they're all backwards. It needs to be the length of the regions minus index minus 1 that gets stored in there. I figured that out yesterday. Or last week, sorry. And reload. And the first one is Sublime. The next one is going to be the topic of region. Somewhere's in here. There it is. And then the next one is also region. And then the last one is API reference. So find all of the links, mark them, get the default package, get the link regions, iterate, replacing text, and storing stuff into a temporary dictionary that gives you the index of that particular region. And we still have regions up here. I'm going to guess, and I can't remember if I did this last time, that this changes. If I did that and I did this, like so, along with that, well, move it here. I think okay, well, in this case, none of them did, so I need to edit this help file, don't I? If I did that, no, huh? The regions remain even though the text is getting shortened? Did I edit the wrong file? ID region 1 class? Yeah, so that's still an anchor. It's not going to go anywhere. Oh, that's not a link. I have to modify a link. That was stupid. Okay. There. There. It's contained in the broken module. That part's doing what one might expect. Now I need to clear this. Do it again. still the same, even though the text of one of them got shorter. Did it? Sublime Text Module. Let's make for surezies, because this is sort of racking my brain a little. I'm saying there's still the regions before the replacements happen and the regions after the replacements happen are the same, even though the very first one or the very last one should have a different size, because it used to be that and now it's not. Am I not doing this right? It's entirely possible that that array, no, because it would, that number should be different than that number, should it not? I wasn't really expecting this to take quite this much time, but there's only 13 minutes left on the 2-hour stream timer. So this is an interesting little conundrum, because what I'm trying to figure out here, if it's not obvious, is this is the regions before we start iterating over them, and as we iterate through them, we're replacing text. Replacing text makes it shorter. That big long text is now shorter text. I could do that. Actually, I could do this. That should stop being broken. But it is, huh? I'm pretty sure Sublime should be a thing. Well, region is a thing. Region.text. How about that? Is that not a... Oh, you know why it's doing that? Because I'm a boob. There. How about that? There. It's sad when you don't remember how code you just wrote 10 minutes ago was supposed to work. Okay, reload this. Enter, enter, enter. Reload this. 297, 395. See, I would expect that because in this file, this text is bigger and this we're iterating it, that one, the numbers might change. But the fact that they don't means that whatever this is returning, it's modifying the contents of the array. 297 to 325, huh? If that was the case, then the other thing wouldn't have been a problem. So I'm just not doing something right here. So I'm just going to ignore that. For my purposes, I'm going to do that, reload this. So what we're ending up with is a dictionary that's giving us a region index and the topic that's associated with it. So now I'm going to say for IDX region and enumerate, well, let's just say regions. Here we are setting up. This first part is setting up the temp variable that, yeah, I'm aware that I broke something. It's okay. The first part of this is setting up a temporary variable that rewrites the buffer and creates a dictionary that associates the link regions in the file with this little object here. So now, when we iterate through the regions, we need to say the thing that we used to be doing but aren't anymore, which is hhlinks for region.begin is equal to whatever the value of temp index is. And then still leave that out for the time being. But now we can set that setting back in. And we're going to leave that part out still. So the plugin still loads. And that still links even though that doesn't know that it should. If I go back to the index, this goes to plugins, this goes to nothing. So that's still broken. Now, if I was to say, copy that to here. Oh, my God, I'm a moron. Oh, yeah, okay, that'll probably fix some stuff. Of course, it was printing the same thing. I wasn't refetching the variable. That goes to Sublime. That goes to Sublime plugin. That's plugin lifecycle. This is settings. And that does this, which we don't care about right now. Okay. So that part is good. I'm not entirely sure at this point whether this is actually, I guess, this isn't strictly needed because I'm iterating these from the bottom up. No, I'd have to go back and rewrite them. Like, I could figure out how big the text was, this V subster was before versus what the text was that it was rewritten with after. And then I could use that to figure out how much it got shorter and adjust regions. But it seems like this part, it's easier to do it this way. And here, I can still do that. But wherever package name is, it's temp idx dot package. And wherever topic appears, it's temp idx dot topic. And I think that should have no effect on anything thus far, right? But if I made this empty again so that it's not drawn and just change this back to hidden like so, then we end up with things looking like that, but that still goes and that still works, and this one over here still works, and this one down here still does that. So that's what we want. That did some stuff. It should actually have generated errors in the console times, oh, several. Yeah, okay. What do we got here? We need to move those up and uncomment them because now we're actually putting stuff in. This is not how this works. I think that's how that works. Been doing a lot of Lua lately too. Okay, how about that? Okay, that is a little better. It's not displaying errors now. And if I do that, then when I reload this, that should still work, even though that part's broken because it is no longer looking the correct stuff up for the most part. Huh. These ones all work because the text happens to be the anchor that it's actually trying to do something with. This one doesn't work because that's not what it's doing. But if I went back into, okay, now where am I here? This is the index.txt. Am I editing this file anywhere? Oh yeah, down here. If this was example, and that was example plugins, then that link should go back to looking like example plugins and line everything up, but it should be gray because now the topic example doesn't exist. And it tells you it's linking to something which theoretically is correct, except that it's not because that is the wrong thing. So that I'm going to call a success for the purposes of this, with 3 minutes left to go. Now, clearly, there's a little bit of more things to do here in the event handler because this needs to be re-enabled, and on hover is getting the wrong stuff. It's getting it from there. You know what? Let's check this stuff in and see where we're at. Maybe I'll see if I can just tweak that. This part's going to require a little bit more thought because what we need is to do this part one more time, but without the temp in there. So that might actually have to be a third command, and then that could be executed. But that's something that was just recently added, so we don't have to worry about that per se right now. Now, let's add this in stages. So the first thing is to add this particular file. Boop. Include a new parse function for parsing links. Which is responsible for parsing the text of a link body out into the appropriate package, topic ID, and link text. Okay, now here's something we didn't actually test per se, but it's going to require some thought on my part, so that's going to be tricky. I still have this help file, huh? I probably should have been testing with that one, all things being equal. Region.txt, let's close that. Let's delete this. We don't need that one anymore. Did that generate an error? No. Text input handler, let's get rid of that too. So what did I actually want to test? If I said browse available help, Sublime build, index.txt should take me to there. So if I was to edit this help file, which I just closed like a fool, or index, I could say jump to the, that's a link, and we'll call it Sublime build index.txt and build system index file. Period, save, reload. That says jump to the build system index file. It's not in here. Again, the hover command isn't smart enough to know that the package might be one other than the currently open package. But if I double click it, I navigate to another package. So Let's just say that is setting up a setting for post-processing for links. That is using the setting to follow links. That is rewriting links. That is the timer going off for the end of the 2 hours. That is testing the above. We're not going to get to linter testing because there is still a bit more work to do on events. But we can jump over here, and this is one of those things that may well take a cleaning pass or two as things progress. Like if this code that does the swapping, or adding these other active link things and broken links to uh, need to happen somewhere else, then that's probably a different command than this, and this command calls that command. Um, I think that's probably where it's at. So let's say this does what? Implement full link rewriting using new parser. This into the post-processing for links, the new parser for link bodies, which causes it to rewrite all of the links that have a package, topic, or both specified uniquely, setting up the appropriate prop. I can't type. Oh, good gravy. Underlying setting so that the link following still works. Note that there are still issues with event handling, so the hover pop-up will incorrectly tell you link destinations and active/broken links don't get reassessed. Oh man. There you go. On startup currently, although they should. Oh, I guess I should stage the file first, huh? And there we go with that. Now that's technically that is what we want to do for link extensions. The other parts, the hover pop-up being wrong, and that other part, and rechanging these, those are all things that are part of another set of changes, which also includes the authoring tools ability to lint, because the linter is assuming that anchors always look like their text and links always look like their text. That needs to be fixed as well. Going to have to come back through here, clean that part up a little bit, but that can be part of a cleanup branch. It doesn't have to be part of this branch. I'm not totally cool with this, the way it's working. I don't know what, I definitely want the topic to be broken, but what should the text be? Should the text just remain as this? Maybe that's what to do there. I need to see more real life instances of it to see what the best, the most user friendly thing there is, if you will. So I'm going to check out master and do merge with no fast forward. Did I just do that backwards? I'm used to doing it the other way. I used to be able to click that. Merge anchor extensions into master with no fast forward. It thinks it's doing something. That's an intriguing bit of action right there. I'm not sure what exactly. That's not a command I used to have one that I added directly to the menu to do the same thing. I'm going to quit that and open it up again. I'm on master. Merge link extensions into master with no fast forward. That really seems like the command that it should be running. Why did it work that time? I'm going to have to re-watch that and see if I was doing something silly there. But we don't need either of these branches anymore, realistically. We don't need link extensions. That one can go away. And we don't want anchor extensions because we're done with that one. You may notice the GitHub version of the code is still way back here. None of these changes we've been working on are pushed up there yet. I'm still making sure that I haven't busted anything super hardcore in this particular operation. More than, this stuff here anyway. But, you know what? Let's go ahead and say we can discard that. We can discard that. We can discard that. Those are all of the files that we were playing with. So it's enough to know that it works. More work needs to go into actually utilizing these capabilities. A lot of the help files don't actually need to change so much except for some hidden anchors being slightly different. But let us say that at 2 hours and 20 minutes, that is a successful live coding session here again on the HyperHelp package. So I'm going to call it here. I could easily spend another couple of hours noodling around with the hover pop-up and the linting, but then what would I do next Sunday at this very same time when I come back to do more work on HyperHelp? So if you'd like to see that, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. As soon as this stream is done, the next stream is going to be scheduled. You can come right to the channel and click to be notified when I'm going to go live. And if you'd like to be here live while I'm doing this, asking questions in case I'm rambling and not answering myself the sort of questions you'd want to be asking, feel free to hop on in the chat and say hi and ask questions, or ask those questions in the comments section below or on Twitter at OdatNurd. And as I said at the beginning, and I'll say at the end of every video, have a sublime day.